don't want to give up. There we go. Not today. Yes.
Hello, Shantel Athena here with ESP Sports. With me today, I have Mr. Siobhan Lawrence, also known as Chevy. He plays for the Hampton Roads Warriors, which is the only semi-pro basketball team here in Hampton Roads, Virginia. So, welcome, Chevy.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. We're so interested, about you and your basketball history. So we're just going to start off simple.
Okay.
Tell me, how did it all begin? When did you discover that basketball was your thing?
Well, I started playing since I was 6 years old. Basketball was never easy for me. Always came hard. My mom would be in the gym with me since 7th, 8th grade. 5 o'clock in the morning, yelling at me, throwing balls at me before she would go to work, before I would go to school. But it was humbling. It was very hard. It didn't come easy to me like football did, but I had to work at it. And I think having to work for it gave me that love for it. So.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your mom. What did she just know you had a natural sports knack, or did she just want you to play sports? Tell me a little bit about that.
So my mom wanted me to play sports. She was actually a track star.
Okay.
Could have went to the Olympics, but she got pregnant with me, so she was actually running, prepared for that with me in her stomach. So
wow, go mom! Yes,
absolutely. So I had to kind of make up for that. So she always wanted me to do sports. But I think me watching it when I was little and just picking up a basketball and playing just brought a smile to my face. So she kind of just, pushed me. She was like super mom. So.
Okay. All right. So it was just you and mom?
So it was me, my mom, my brother.
Okay.
Things didn't work out with her and my dad, so they split. So I was with my mom a lot. But it was great. My dad was there, talked to me as much as he could. Mm-hmm. But my mom was really, really there, helping me out throughout the way.
Okay. You mentioned football. Now, this is kind of a twist. So you said basketball didn't come as easy to you as football did. Mm-hmm. So were you playing football first?
I was actually, I was playing football, and it's going to make a lot of people mad, but I never trained for football. I just kind of put the helmet on and just went out and played. And it was always really easy for me. So I guess, one day I was big and they were like, hey, go play football. So I played football. I didn't make my basketball team the first year I played. So I actually did wrestling, which was kind of surprising. But I did wrestling for a year and played football, and then just kept working, made the basketball team. And instead of limiting my options, I just decided to play both and just see where that would take me.
Okay. So you kind of had like Coach Mom.
Coach Mom.
She was making sure you was getting in that gym 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness. So what age was it when you made the basketball team?
I believe I was in the 7th grade. Okay. I'm really bad with, I told my mom this past weekend, I was like, yeah, I'm turning 25. She was like, you're turning 26. And I was like, I can't keep track of my age anymore.
Okay.
I'm trying to
somewhere in middle school,
Somewhere in middle school,
you made the basketball team. Were you a starter?
My first year I was not.
Okay.
Rode the bench a little bit. So I was a late bloomer, but my coaches believed in me. I actually won Arby's Player of the Month. They did a feature on me on the news, and I started to just really push myself. I actually played with Ed Davis, who's in the NBA right now.
Okay.
So eventually I got to where I needed to be. So that was great.
Okay. So when did you drop football?
I didn't drop football until after college.
Oh, more twisted to the story. Okay, so you played basketball and football all the way through middle school and high school?
Exactly.
How did that work?
So it was really weird. So I was ranked in football and basketball, so I couldn't choose. I couldn't make up my mind. My mom was basketball, and my dad, who would talk to me periodically, was football. So they just told me to keep my options open. So I would play football. I would go a little bit into the basketball season, then have to catch back up into basketball. So finally, when I was getting recruited for a lot of different schools, I had football schools, I had basketball schools. It was just a lot of mail coming through. And I decided I wanted to be the first athlete, or one of many athletes, to play both, Division I sports. So I tried to do that when I went to West Point. It didn't work out. but I still played basketball on my own. So.
Okay, so when you say it didn't work out, what do you mean it didn't work out? So you went to West Point.
Went to West Point.
For 2 sports.
2 sports.
But one didn't work out. Which one didn't work out?
Basketball didn't work out.
Okay, so you played football.
Yeah,
all right.
Played football.
So what happened? Why didn't basketball work out for you?
Well, they had high expectations for me, but they didn't think I would play my freshman year of college, which I did. So I was on the varsity team my freshman year. The football coach just didn't want to let me go. So he told the basketball coach, like, hey, we just really want him. We really need him, to play football. And it's a football school. So that's how that happened.
Okay, so it sounds like you had a lot of people pulling on you to play football. But tell me why you didn't go that route. Why are you still sticking to this day with basketball?
Basketball was harder. I had to work harder. People were telling me that I couldn't do it. And that's one thing that drives me. I had teachers and principals and faculty telling me like I wouldn't do anything unless I played football. So it was kind of like, it was a stick it to them. But then over time, I began to love it. It became like a safe haven for me to go. So, a lot of my problems that I have when I'm on the basketball court, it kind of doesn't matter. So, I kind of fell in love with it. I don't see it as a job. I don't see it as work. It's just, the love of the game.
Did you always have the support system as you played basketball, or did you ever at once feel kind of by yourself while you're pursuing basketball?
I always had a great family support system, but sometimes you just feel alone, you be in a crowd of people and just feel like you're by yourself and you're tackling the world by yourself. But, I had a really great friend that kind of pushed me along the way. He's actually a player development coach for the Orlando Magic right now. It's actually his birthday today too. But he kind of pushed me and kept me focused because, when so many people say you can't do something, eventually it starts to get to you, starts to wear on you. But he never let me fold, so I really appreciate that.
So who was it that helped you really shape and become perfected with basketball?
At one point I wanted to quit when I went to the military, so another twist there. But Kevin, my best friend, he kind of pushed me to say, hey, this is your dream, this is what you believed in, fight for it, because it's going to be so much more rewarding when you get there. And I do plan on getting there. Okay,
so fast forward, you're at West Point, you're not playing basketball for them. Then you leave West Point and you transition to the military. What branch? Army. So you went to the military. Did you play basketball in the military while you were there?
I did.
Okay.
So I played basketball. I was going to try to be on the all-conference basketball team. My unit was deploying, so they wouldn't let me do that because we were about to deploy. But my ankle kept getting worse and worse.
Ankle. Something happened. What happened to your ankle? You had an injury.
I had an injury. So in the military, we do a lot of ruck marches and a lot of training. Just my ankle just kept giving out. So one day I could walk fine. The next day I couldn't walk at all. So they told me that I needed to get surgery. Never had surgery before in my life. I only broke one thing, and that's my arm when I played football. So my mom, I think at the time, was in North Carolina. She said, I'll fly up there and make sure you're okay. And I was like, Mom, I'm fine. So I got the ankle surgery, made a decision that, I'm going to, get out of the military because I just couldn't be in the military. So that's when I kind of started going to therapy and started taking therapy lessons because I couldn't play basketball. I couldn't be in the military. I couldn't, it was really hard for me. So I struggled with that mentally, but I had my family in my corner just kind of saying, hey, look at all you have accomplished. But to me, that wasn't enough.
Right, because I'm sitting there thinking like your idea of after high school, going to college, playing basketball, then you happen to go to the military, like your idea of your clean path. You wanted to go to the NBA?
Yeah.
So your clean path to the NBA is now unraveling. So how are you dealing with this? Especially now you have an injury. Injuries are never good. You wanted to go to the NBA? So your clean path to the NBA is now unraveling. They know you had an injury. So how are you dealing with this? Especially mentally, now you have an injury. Family's there, but wanted to go to the NBA. It's still you. And so your clean path to the NBA is now unraveling. So how are you dealing with this? Especially mentally, yes, your family's there, but it's still you.
So I started therapy and really just trying to hash out my demons and and trying to get myself back. And Kevin was really there to push me and to get me back on track. So I did, and I ended up trying out for a G League team not even 6 months later, which I did very, very well. They told me I wasn't in shape, so I wouldn't make training camp, but to come back next year. So, you know, the journey is not straight, narrow, but, you know, when I get there, I can inspire somebody else who doesn't have that straight path to get there too.
Right. So you're here now. You're playing for the Warriors. How did you hear about the Warriors?
I actually moved to Virginia Beach about 9 months ago. Wanted to just work out and just train for my trials that I have in October, November time frame. And he told me about this organization and this team. And, you know, I thought it would be a great opportunity. So I came, met some of the coaches, met the GM, and they really embraced me. And I learned a lot. I was humbled a lot. You know, I thought I was just going to come in here and just be on top. But, you know, it really kind of helped me with the practices and the workouts and the team. It just really, it's like another home for me. So
how are you adjusting now to your new team, and you're getting those workouts that you need? So how are you adjusting?
At first it was rough, you know, especially my first game, it was really rough. But my teammates had my back. They believed in me, sometimes more than myself. What was the rough part about your first game with the Warriors? Just not sure of myself. You know, after the injury, just not sure of myself, mental toughness, just knowing that I belonged here. So because it's your first time back in the game. Exactly. Right, since your injury. Okay. So that pretty much beat down the confidence that you've had. Exactly. Okay. So you had a rough game, but your teammates built you up. Built me up. So the second game, I was the second leading scorer, scored the game-winning bucket. Saw that. Yeah, so it was, you know, it was great. That had to be, you know, very encouraging. It was. And that was an intense game. It was, and I mean, the best part was just my teammates saying, like, I knew you could do it. I believe in you. Keep going, keep going. Right. So it's kind of like, you know, starting to figure out, you know, I can do this. I really can if I put my mind to it. Right. So how is your mom feeling about you being on the team? Oh, my mom was at the game. She was crazy. She almost ran on the floor. And, you know, I told her when I go to the NBA, she's going to be in the box seats because she's not allowed on the court. Not allowed at all. Awesome. So she was excited. Oh, yeah. Super excited. I mean, I can imagine because she's going through this journey with you. Exactly. So what is your goals right now as a player, even now or in the future? You know, my goal is to just continue to be a leader. Even though I'm a rookie, continue to build that leadership skill, craft my game, you know, bring a championship to this organization, and then, you know, move on to the G League and be a pathway for other people to follow in my footsteps. So who are some of your greatest inspirations right now in basketball? In basketball, I love Russell Westbrook, just the passion he has. You know, he doesn't always do the right things or say the right things, but he gives his all 110% every single time. You can never say that he doesn't care. Great teammate. He never blames. He just always accepts it, and that's the type of person I want to be. You know, if something doesn't go our way, you know, make sure that, you know, I lift my teammates up, and when things go well, that I give praise to my teammates and the fans and my support system. So definitely Russell Westbrook. Always been a LeBron fan just because of how great he is. Kobe Bryant. I'm not the biggest Kobe Bryant fan, but, you know, his hard work that he does off the court is just unmatched. So I really, you know, model my workouts after him. Is there anybody that you watch or study to kind of help perfect your own personal craft? To kind of, you know? Donovan Mitchell. So he's kind of similar to my game. Being a 6'3", I'm not point guard, but not shooting guard, so I'm like kind of in the middle. And he kind of just paved the way for, you know, guys like myself, because he isn't a point guard. He's a straight scorer. Okay. Being 6'3", I believe he is, so he's changing the game and, you know, opening the way for people like me. Okay. Is there anybody that you're doing this for, or are you just doing this for you? When I say this, I mean basketball, going after your goals, going after your dreams. Are you doing this for anyone specifically? You know, I'm doing it for me, but also I'm doing it, and I got that fire back for everyone that said I couldn't do it, for, you know, to prove to myself, like after this injury, that I can still do it. because I know I can, and realizing that and being able to push through even through the hard times, I feel like that makes you great. So when I get there, it'll just be a breath of fresh air, and like I said, just tell my story. And I didn't go high school, college, pro like a lot of my teammates did, but I got there when I got there.
Right. And that's the most positive thing that you could give to somebody, because like you said, everybody doesn't go through that narrow path. So your story in itself is super encouraging. Thank you so much for sharing it with us today.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
And best wishes to you as you continue to pursue all of your goals and dreams.
Thank you so much.
And tell your mom, congratulations. She's an awesome coach. I am Shantel Athena with ESP Sports.